What is going on, folks? Deej here, bringing to you another hot, scorching replay commentary. Alright, I think I'm going to drop the folks bit. Sounds too much like some Looney Tunes shit. Anyway, got a great game for y'all. Man, this is one of the best games I've seen in months. So this is not one of the replays where you just skip every few minutes and see what moves are. No, you need to watch this whole damn game. That's a Deej's order right there. Got it? Anyway, this match is between two great players. Witte711, I assume he patrons 711 a good bit, I don't know, and Laurendox. So Witte, I've played Witte before. He's a great player. He's like similar like me. He plays Fog, he plays Standard, he plays High Fun, so he's not like me. But he's similar to me in that he plays both Fog and Standard, and he's good at both. He's actually beaten me in Fog before, so he has the Deej's stamp of approval for being good. Great player, 1400-ish. And then on the other hand, we have Laurendox, another up-and-coming player. Man, another guy I lost to. So I played Laurendox like a month ago, and he was like 1150, and I lost, and I was like, damn, man, I stink. And then like nowadays, he's like 1350 or some crap. So I'm like, okay, I don't feel quite as bad as before. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Laurendox. Sounds French. I know like 4 words of French. I listen to a lot of French music though, so I'm gonna say it Laurendox. So the map, Caustic Finale, man, this map has been a fixture for like ever in Advanced Force by Web. I remember seeing this map when I first joined like 6-7 months ago. Man, time flies. Anyway, this map, you've probably seen it before if you've played this game for more than like a month. It's just very common. A lot of great games on this map. It is a 4-base map. That's right, you can pump out units galore. There's going to be high unit counts, early battles, a lot of front switching. Front switching is incredibly important on this map. We'll get into that in a bit. But you're going to see a lot of units. I find that recons are also a lot more viable in more base maps. Also artillery, because they're cheaper. Cheaper units are just typically better in higher base count maps because you can move them around a lot easier. They're cheaper to afford, so you can pump out more things from other bases as well. So anyway, the main theme of this map is front switching though. Front switching is important because there are so many fronts. It depends who you ask and what time of the week it is, but there are like at least like 6-7 fronts. I think 7. You got one front over here, another front over here. I'm gonna have to like do post-production, show you all. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think off the top of my head. And you can just switch around a lot. For that reason, and also because there's 4 bases, you typically see a lot more tanks and artillery, less tech ups like medium tanks and stuff, because let's say I build a bunch of tanks over here and I'm attacking. You build a medium tank up here. I'm just going to shift all my forces down here and your medium tank's just going to be stuck up there. You put an artillery and it's not going to do anything. It's too afraid to get into artillery range, so it's basically just sitting there as a defender. So a lot of the time you can just build your tanks up here, fight, shift down here, shift over here. Very easy to front switch. If you do not have a good grasp on front switching, you will get slaughtered by a great player. So you need to be very aware of front switching, forcing the opponent to tech up, and then shifting to another front is a huge theme of this map as well. You need to make sure unit count is the most important thing on this map because there's so much stuff going on. You can be behind in income, but if you're ahead in unit count, you're winning as far as I'm concerned. So make sure you understand the fronts, make sure you know when to front switch, make sure you understand which fronts are the most important. Like this front over here is probably the least important because like if you try to get this comm tower as red, you are within like tank range. That is overextension right there. It's so easy to like repel and attack. Even if you take it temporarily or something, the comm tower or the city, like you're gonna get it back. Also, like these corner ones are pretty good because they have decent properties. This front's also not that. No, this front here is not that important because there's so many forests. It's hard to traverse. I say the most important fronts are these two up here. Maybe this one as well, and then like lower over here. I'll like rank them and showing them post-production, but like you need to pick the most important fronts. Probably the most important is this one, of course, because the HQs are right here and you got really close bases. But a lot of the times you can see like a big fight over here, then it shifts to another front. That's why this map is so good. It's always changing. You don't know where there's going to be a next battle. So it's just like you need to really know what you're doing to play on this map at a high level. So I got whooped in this map before, and I've whooped some other people in this map. So it's a nuts map. That's why I think you all are going to really enjoy this. Quick note on the CO selection. Von Bolt is typically the consensus pick for this map because Von Bolt and his 10% offense and 10% defense bonus. Typically, he likes maps where you have fighting early and often, and this is one perfect example of that. We can really use his advantage, like quick. Probably by turn like 5 or 6, you're going to have fighting. You can use that advantage. Whereas Sasha and Hawk, they're a little more stally than Vombolt. Well, Hawk is at least. And needs more time to build up that superpower, but the game might be over by the time the superpower comes for Hawk. So you want to use your Vombolt powers. You want something with CO with strong day-to-day abilities. Sammy is insane on this map. Lash is pretty good on this map as well. Just need to watch out for COs that have really good day-to-day powers, because it's probably going to be decided quickly on this map. You might not know it. Sometimes the games go on for like 30 days, but they are already decided in the early days, if you know what I mean. So you need to be aware of COs that have day-to-day advantages like Vombolt. Javier is pretty good because of the artillery, reduction in artillery damage to his units, and artillery is pretty good on this map. But COs like that. Anyway, without further ado, let's get to the game itself. And we're off. Yeah, so typically, as if you watch more than one of my replays, you always go for the base first. So the players both go for the bases first. There's some nice infantry chains, of capturing chains rather. Although they will get interrupted eventually when you get to this contested property over here. Nice chain over here. You probably, after you get this space over here, you typically want to get this property and put pressure on this one over here rather than first going for the port. So we'll see what they prioritize, because sometimes you can go heavy in the middle over here. Sometimes you can go heavy down here. You want to make sure you get some of those properties. Oftentimes people split their priorities because you try to just get your hand in every single area at once. And that usually works as well. So typical infantry trains, nothing too unusual. Let's see, wait till I see something that stands out to me. No, same old infantry. Going double infantry over here. Okay, that seems pretty ordinary. Capturing these two properties typically, and then red would get this one. Same goes over here, capture these two as red, and black usually gets this corner property. That's typically what happens. You usually see an early artillery sometimes in one of the corner pockets. Sometimes from both sides, sometimes just for one. Got a tank this time. Sometimes you see the artillery. This is the first unit. I'm assuming this tank's going to go down here and put pressure rather than the side, because if you put it in the side over here, usually you can counter that by just putting the infantry up here and then putting an artillery. And then you have an infantry wall and the artillery can just free reign. So typically you want to shove all your tanks in this middle area over here. This is usually where you see the majority of the tanks. Sometimes you see them over here as well. And occasionally seeing them in the corners. But usually it's like in this open middle area over here. Over here, not as much because of the forest, like I mentioned earlier. These two fronts over here, you don't see as much tanks. Mostly this huge quadrant over here, you see a lot of tanks. So that should give you a good taste of what's to come. Going for the port instead of this property over here, whatever. I typically am a city guy over the port, but see a tank mirror over here, they're probably going to move over here into the area. The most important area, as I mentioned earlier. Yeah, it's just unfolding like a typical game. Like I said earlier, it's going to get this property. You can already see the beginnings of the how the properties are going to be split between the two players. Although you do see an interrupt over here, which is unusual. Typically, you don't see the interrupt, but I guess he has numbers. Laurendox has numbers, although he is susceptible to this tank attack because it is centralized. So he's going to have to follow up with a tank or some sort of thing as a deterrent. Yeah, as I just mentioned, you see a tank over there. This tank is on the defensive. You probably could plop it in this forest over here. But, you know, trying to centralize it, I assume. Not going for this property over here. I guess afraid of the double attack. The artillery is coming, so that might actually get blocked. Typically, this is a red property, but if he puts the artillery, Witte711 puts his artillery right here, it's going to lock down that property. He's not going to be able to get it. So already have some disruptions in the typical way the game develops. Seems like both players are playing extremely aggressively, not letting their opponent get any contested properties. Moves over to this one. That's also completely defended by mountains, and there's no airports. So something in that spot is not going to get attacked unless it's like by an infantry by the mountain or something. Like, it's incredibly hard to break through that. That's why artillery are great in the corners. You typically don't see as much artillery over here in the tank area. Typically see artillery near the bridges where there's an easy choke point. So yeah, we have a pretty interesting development so far. As I mentioned earlier, Vombolt is important because there's early fights and often fights. I don't think that's grammatically correct. There's often a lot of fights. And as you can see, already getting a lot of use out of the Vombolt day-to-day power. And because none of them have the comm tower yet, there's also a defender's advantage. So you typically want to interrupt these caps because you get bad trades. Like I think this was a 6-7 trade, which is not incredibly great. but they're still going for it. That's what I'm saying. These guys are feisty. Typically, you see the defender's advantage, and you just grab your properties, let your opponent grab theirs, and then you bring in the big guns. But these guys are going at it early in the game. So we have the unusual start where we have a lot of infantry fights rather than tanks fighting one another, and a little less income than usual because of that. But like I said earlier, unit count is important, so bring back your infantry that are wounded and heal them up. Yeah, man, interrupting every cap possible. Wow. Alright then. Looks like we're getting a tank ball over here by Laurendox. I question that because this is like not a very important front. I probably would have put it up here and pressured this tank over here, maybe pressured this area up here. This general vicinity is a lot more important than this area over here, and a lot more important than this little crappy area down there. Building tank on this one as well. Nothing too crazy, although I think the tank placement was a little strange. See, this is why you don't really want to interrupt, because he's going to get this cap anyway, and that infantry is just going to be completely wounded, probably killed. So, yeah, see, inevitable that this thing is going to get capped. That's why I don't like the infantry fights early on in the game. I prefer using tanks to blast each other. Get some free hits where possible. But we have a pretty close game in terms of income. We got Witte slightly ahead on the capture count. And it looks like it will remain that way. Although, like, Laurendox is trying to stop this. Oh, man, like I said earlier, you don't want to interrupt to that comm tower. It's just, like, fruitless. It just doesn't make sense because it's so easy to stop it with a tank. Just building one tank from that, this base over here is just going to halt any attacks. You're just going to, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what Laurendox has in mind, but it doesn't look good. I don't agree with it, whatever it's looking like right now. So Witte's still ahead with the, we still have pretty equal unit count. I think maybe even also on kills and deaths. I don't think it works when you do replays to check kills and death counters, but it looks like Witte's ahead on kills as well. Yeah, see if he's going to try to interrupt that over there. See, you just build a tank over here and look. Like, good luck. So these are taken by this point in the game. This is usually a black property. That's usually also a black property for Witte. So interesting so far. We're already at day 9, a lot of fights going on. Unit count is already approaching 30 on day 9, which is ridiculous. That just shows you what 4 base is like. And I'm assuming he's gonna, wow, it's just letting that get hit by a tank from a city just to avoid that cap. Don't agree with that at all. I'm just not gonna pretend that there's any point in that. I don't agree at all if it's just a bad move. Moving the tank over there, but there can be reinforced with this tank over here. I don't like it. Just don't like it. Laurendox, not as much activity here as usual. Seems like they're focusing on strange fronts. Well, not strange. This makes sense. This makes sense. This does not make sense. So a little less activity up in the north than you typically see. No base skipping so far. Both of them have been pretty careful on base skipping. I often base skip on this map too, just because if I want to force out a tank or an artillery when I typically can't. So it's not as taboo when you have 4 bases to base skip. But these guys are like, they want their unit count. And it makes more sense that way. But I don't shame anyone for base skipping on this map. Witte going in over here, pretty close to this base. Trying to trap that tank, it looks like. Ooh, I like that maneuver. That is a good maneuver. Won't build defense on the city. Although, look, it's not that great a trade because he does not have the comm tower. So maybe the Laurendox movement paying a little bit of dividends right now. But, and this looks scary over here. This is looking completely Witte winning over here. Witte's going to win all this crap over here. So Laurendox is going to back off. This tank is kind of have analysis paralysis because it's going to be scared where to attack. Can't really attack this tank because it's out of range. Can't attack the infantry because then you'd be on a road or a plane. So looking a little scary for Laurendox. Witte also has double tank backup. So I like that move. Probably 2 infantry up top. Exactly. So Witte's been playing, I think Witte's been outplaying Laurendox so far. Laurendox made some questionable moves, as you can see reflected in the income. And also, well, he's about to make up a little bit of that. But still, in terms of the income, and I think he's also behind on the KD. Just a little too feisty with the infantry, I would say. So looking a little tenuous for Laurendox right now, but as always, you can front switch. Gets a hit off on this over here, but that artillery is going to get a nice shot out. So a lot of infantry fights going on though. Fighting up here. Still going on over here, alright. But then there's their tank over like that. Really going hard on this comm tower, though. We'll do anything for the comm tower. We'll see if that gamble pays off. Hint, it probably won't. In my opinion, at least. From my experience. So, Witty ahead in the count, but behind on unit count from all these infantry deaths, I suppose. Laurondo going in hard on the bottom. Also, Laurondo showing as a big investment in something over here by building this medium tank. So putting a lot of money towards that. I typically go like double artillery tank or something. So medium tank really means you're going all in on a certain front. So we'll see where he places that. We'll also decide the trajectory of battles. Like if he goes over here towards the HQ, that could signal like a faster game. Or if you go over here to combat this, like a slower game. So we'll see where he puts the medium tank. Didn't build it up here. So leaving a lot of flexibility. Up here, it's definitely going to go over there, but down here, a little more flexibility. Woody allowing Laurondo to get this property over here. It looks like Woody's still securing that income lead, preventing Laurondo from getting this property. Woody successfully got this contested property that's really hard to get usually, so congrats to him. But the comm tower, that's basically Laurondo is going all in on that comm tower. And look, so easy to reinforce. Like, weak little tanks, you got infantry coming, like, you're not going to be able to hold that. So it's a temporary victory, that comm tower. Let's see what the Laurondo has up his sleeve. Clawing back in there with the caps. But this is a... looks like he'll get that comm tower, though. Going down here with the medium tank. In range of the artillery. Woody has his own medium tank, so that's a little questionable, but, you know, whatever. Laurondo appears to know what he's doing. He's winning the front up here, so he has one front he is sort of winning. Finally capturing this, threatening to capture this property, although it's not going to really get captured, but he's threatening all the same. So, you know, he's got some fight in him. Tried to kill that tank with the infantry. No luck. Sorry, Laurondo. What if ultimate plot twist? It wasn't Laurondo. It was actually Laurendox. Laurendox from upstate New York, daughter of Danny Dox, founder of Dox Blocks, the competitor of Lego. That would be something. Anyway, so try to interrupt this cap, but that's not happening. Down to 3, it has 2. So in vain. So it looks like Laurondo will get this comm tower. Really far ahead on unit count. I don't know how this is happening. I wasn't really paying attention to the amount of units. I guess it's the... well, okay, never mind. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 units with 1 HP. 1, 2, 3. So 7 units that are 1 or 2 HP. So it looks good on paper, but it's not actually that much of an advantage. I take that back. But all the same, it looks good on paper. And it'll probably get knocked down there. Woody threatening to take this corner property over here with the artillery backup, capture this with infantry, put another infantry there. Maybe even a tank to seal the deal. Although this tank probably needs to fight down here because Laurondo is starting to shift tanks over here, it looks like. So a little questionable where to put the units. Not even moving the medium tank over here. Actually, wait, what? Withdrew the artillery from taking a hit on that. Let me check why. I was not paying enough attention. So could have... I can see why, because it would wrap around to take a hit. But why not just put your medium tank here? Take a hit on this. Move this. Medium tank gets a hit. Then maybe you put the weak infantry in the way or something. I don't know. It doesn't make... a little questionable. I don't know what he did that. I guess he doesn't care enough about this properties. I guess there's no threat to capturing with a 1 and a 4 over there. So it's not a big deal. Deciding to instead move the medium tank over here to not allow, or to recapture these properties rather, now that they're pretty close in income. Woody has maintained the income lead throughout the entirety of the match. Whoa, Laurondo suddenly attacking this base over here. Looks like he'll capture it as well, unless they can somehow break through. No, it does not look like Woody will be able to. Surging tanks over here. It's starting to look scary on this front over here near the HQ. Suddenly the front switch like randomly like Witty's suddenly down here on the useless front. So maybe, maybe it was the bait and switch. So Laurendox made Witty go crazy over here, and then suddenly go crazy over there. So maybe I still don't disagree. I still don't agree with the comm tower aspect of it, but maybe just a little distraction. Although he lost 2 tanks, so it's a little more than a distraction, more of a sacrifice. But suddenly he's front switching over here. It looks pretty scary. Knock, knock, knocking on Witty's door. His HQ is getting awfully close to infantry range. Getting artillery as well. Look, maybe the base lock this base over here. It's pretty easy to base lock one of these two using an artillery on either side. Easily going to capture this property. Looks like can't quite kill this unit this turn, so we'll have to go with another turn with Laurendox with 30 firepower, which is crazy. 30% plus firepower, so that's pretty huge. We just got to move this medium tank out of the way of that one because that's going to blast him to Kingdom Come with that 30%. Ooh, going medium tank up here too. So maybe Laurendox will front switch somewhere else because you don't really usually want to fight into a medium tank unless you have like artillery. Got one over here, but maybe he'll shift this one up here. Front switch again. Kind of crazy how that works. This medium tank is going to the neglected front, so another weird reason Witty's going to the... Now he's saddled in the weird fronts that no one really cares about. I don't really know about that. So meanwhile, Laurendox is laser focused on the important front over here, the most important front right there. So how the tides have turned in terms of front priorities. Very interesting how it suddenly switches. Although Laurendox is behind on, it's pretty even because after his turn he will be a little bit less than Witty. But I'd say Witty still has the material advantage, but behind on unit count. But like I said earlier, a lot of weak Laurendox units. I still say Witty has the advantage, but he's out of position, so he's need to reposition his units, or else Laurendox is going to take advantage of that and start to run train towards this HQ area over here. So it looks like we're going to get a temporary trade where Laurendox has a temporary lead. However, Witty's going to quickly recapture property of his own. Looks like he's going for the block over here, vulnerable to this medium tank hit. So let's see what his follow-up is. Going for the port cap, aggressive, and this cap. So he's threatening a lot of properties now that he's focusing on that front. Brings in the medium tank, doesn't care about that hit from the artillery. He's going all in. Laurendox is going all in. That's basically all there is to say. Bringing in all these weakened infantry, blocking this base. It can like that. I mean that tank can move out, but like, ooh, I kind of like what I'm seeing from Laurendox. Surging all his units over here. I mean, some tanks are gonna die, like no doubt, but he's gonna have a lot of properties from this, and he has a lot more units still. The weakened units are coming through. I guess he's healing them or whatever. Building artillery is smart. You want to base lock this. Maybe build an artillery over there as well. Nope, tanky. So let's see what Witty can do. It looks like Witty is a little concerned over here. Maybe have to build another, probably some double tanks over here this turn just to fight back. So yeah, make sure you don't get base locked. Bring all your units out. Probably would have liked to kill that unit, but he can't because of the damn comm tower over there. So that 1 HP tank might go over there and block another unit from coming out. Let's see what that medium tank's probably going to kill this tank on the road. Or not kill it because it doesn't have the comm tower, but do a good amount of damage. Down to 2. It looks like, ooh, okay, so the superpowers are coming into play now. Oh, that's not a really great superpower. That's kind of shitty, actually. That was not one Witty was probably looking for at this point in the game. He probably wanted something more than just this medium tank that would have gotten blasted anyway. And these 2 infantry. Maybe should have saved it for the next turn or tried to maneuver something, but that's just not a good one. I bet Laurendox is going to get a lot better power. But Witty does have some counterplays, looking to cap these properties along with that 1 infantry. Although it is 1 infantry, so if Laurendox does weaken that infantry, it will severely slow down this recapturing phase over here because there's nothing in the back. Probably has to build an infantry this turn down there just to threaten in the future. Yeah, Witty does not have that many infantry in position to recap like Laurendox does. Like, Laurendox can try to capture that, capture this. Like, there's a lot of threatening going on. That is a much stronger Ex Machina, or whatever it's called. It just told me Ex Machina. But that is devastating. So Laurendox can count his blessings for that one. Man, misplay by Witty over here, allowing that hit on that artillery as well. Laurendox has some really good play right now. Boom. Threatening all this stuff. Maybe move the artillery. Oh, it can't quite get in range of the medium tank, but it can move over here. Ooh, devastating. Get a base lock on that over there. That's going to be devastating. Whoa, 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 whoa. Why aren't you going here, man? What? Why don't you base lock? I guess he's going directly for the HQ? Huh. I would have base locked for sure on that. But that is devastating. Laurendox definitely is loving this. Still behind on unit value, but ahead on the properties now. So, actually, he'll be ahead. He's saving up money, it looks like. 13,000 funds. Because he would be a little closer to even. But, so he's ahead on unit count, but he's behind on value, and he's ahead on cap. So he's got 2 of the 3. And I'd say Laurendox currently does have the lead, although Woody does have some counterplay. Because he's going to kill this medium tank, kill a whole bunch of stuff. Interrupts that cap over there. Yeah, something's going to get blasted. Like, that artillery is super strong in that position. But at least he's going to threaten to capture these properties over here. So he does have some counterplay. There's plenty of counterplay to be had. This game is still in its infant stages. Though this was a misplay, that artillery is 100% DE-ed. That's how you spell it, by the way. Oof. And now Woody's surging his units up here. He's trying to bring his medium tank in a pincer strike. 1 medium tank here, 1 medium tank here. Hopefully to kill off some units, make sure that artillery doesn't somehow get on that port and lock down that base, or even get further along and lock down some more important things. Still, like I said earlier, probably should have locked down that base, but what have you. I guess this artillery can. Laurendox's got 2 artillery to work with. So this is looking awfully scary. If I'm Woody, I'm starting to get pretty scared. Like, this is a little terrifying, if I do say so myself. So let's see what Laurendox can do to capitalize on all of this movement going on. Laurendox is putting serious pressure on that HQ right now. Let's see what he can do with it. Capturing that property, there's no way Woody's going to be able to stop that. That's another property for Laurendox. Just killing off. Oh, so close. That would have been a nice roll to finish off that. And then wrap around like an infantry or something in the way. Maybe gets it. Ooh. There you go. Move this 9 infantry right there. Move the 1 infantry or the 1 tank right there. And that's completely base locked. That is beautiful. Really scary offensive going on right there. I think there's going to be enough counterplay where you can stop that. It should have been the 1 tank over here and the 9 over here, because we'll see if Woody's able to stop it. But that's questionable, but still scary nonetheless. Okay, when I see a battleship, usually my eyes are like... And that's usually like a defensive battleship. This is an offensive battleship in range of the enemy bases in HQ. That's like the veins in my neck bulge. That's crazy. This is the first offensive battleship I've seen in my Advanced Wars career. That's right. The first I've ever seen in an actual competitive game. Maybe some meme games or whatever you see them. In a competitive game, in the global leagues, an offensive battleship. That is freaking nuts. I don't know how many games you've played, how many games you've seen. That is not something you normally see. That is nuts. That's some Advanced Wars 2 normal mode playing against Andy as Colin or some crap. Like, that is nuts. That is nuts. Man, that is crazy. Let's see if that battleship is worth it, though. It's 28,000 funds. So he's not even going to be able to make 4 infantry. He's got to combine units or some crap. Like, that is nuts. That is it game over? Like, artillery locking down the HQ. There's a full HP infantry right there. There's a full HP infantry right there, ready to cap that. 2 artilleries, 1's base locking. I don't even know how much damage a medium tank. Let's see how much damage a medium tank does to, like... Look at that. Nothing. It does nothing. That battleship is basically indestructible. Like, what are you going to do to that thing? It's just going to keep firing off, firing off, firing off. What do you even do? Just build another unit to die? Like, that is nuts. That is crazy. Wow. Applause for Laurendox for the creativity and the offensive battleship. That is nuts. Got the unit count. Things are looking great for Laurendox after that weird stuff going on over here. Still have some tanks over there that should probably surge up there, but like, what the heck did I just see? Had to base skip, of course. 900 funds, couldn't afford it. Let's see what Woody does in response, because he's got to have some counterplay. ASA Pizzle, because that is... See, look. Now you can kill the tank and move the tank off. And it's not base locked after all. That's why we put the 9 HP infantry over here. Now the tank can get out. Move the medium tank over here. You're going to get a hit on the artillery. So there's some misplays there for sure. Yep. Man, Laurendox, if he properly made the wall, probably could have just won that turn. Because it would have been base locked, have both artillery, like... But still scary as hell. Let's not discount that he has a freaking battleship on a port pointed at the HQ. Like, let's not pretend like that doesn't exist. But Witte is threatening over here now. Threatening over here. Witte's like slithering down the sides. Still behind on the base count, but for how long? I guess Laurendox is going to capture this property, though. Ooh, that's scary. Might capture that. Although it's got 3 HP artillery now, so that misplay by Laurendox it's gonna cost him. He could have probably just won the game right there if he played it properly with the walls, but that's why we have replays, so we can make fun of stuff and pretend like we would have never made mistakes. So let's see what Laurendox does now that his offensive is stalled slightly. Although he's got a freaking battleship. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, meaty. Something just disappeared over there. Maybe it was a tank. Boom. Boom. Gonna probably kill that with like an infantry. That medium tank. Yeah, and then... Oh, man, this is crazy. But Witte has threatening over here. He's going for a pincer strike. So he's got reinforcements. He's like, I'm dying over here. Bring in the reinforcements. Oh, I guess this medium tank went down here to... I don't even know. Go to graze the fields and attack infantry. Whatever. But these ones over here, like, okay, we need to go up and get backup. We need to survive. We're not letting them cap the HQ. Because Laurendox is knocking on Witte's door. And Witte is knocking on Heaven's door. He's close to death. So he needs reinforcements. You can try to interrupt this cap, but you're probably not going to with a medium tank over here surrounded by infantry. So Laurendox is still threatening. But it would have been like I said, a death blow if these artillery were actually full health. But Witte is still scared. Like I still probably would want to be Laurendox in this situation, I think. Although it's really tenuous. Like Witte has a lot of counterplay. Because he's going to be recapping these properties down here. Probably capping that as well. Locking down these 2 bases basically until Laurendox builds a, I guess a medium tank. Like, he needs to at least build a medium tank because everything else is not going to be able to stop that. So basically, oh, and he's got capture threats over here as well. Bring in the artillery, so he's going to do the pincher strike. So, you know, maybe I wouldn't take Laurendox. I don't know. He's got the battleship, though, so for that reason, I would take Laurendox in this situation. But, like, whoa, okay. Okay. Oh, boy. Pulling out all the stops. You build a battleship offensively. Time for a freaking mega tank. 1, 2, 3, 4. It can actually strike. Let's see how much damage it does. Ooh, man, this thing is feisty. Okay, it still doesn't do that much, but that's a lot of damage regardless. 8,000 every turn. It only gets 3 shots, but that's still a lot of damage. Although you could even probably just build an artillery or something, but maybe just building an artillery. No, but then you got the tanks, so I understand. It's nuts though. You're gonna be base skipping galore because it costs 28,000, just like the battleship costs 28,000. So both these guys pulling out all the stops. You're building some weird ass units. We got some offensive battleships. We got some defensive mega tanks, and this is not even high funds. So this is something interesting. This is something I've never seen before. This is something that I probably won't see again for a long, long time. This is why this game is being shown, because it is freaking nuts. This is not how you normally play. This is just all the stops are out. They're going desperation mode. They're trying to win whatever it takes. Laurendox scarily over here. Looks like he's going to easily get these 2 properties, so it's going to swing even further in his favor. Looks like Witte's taking control of this corner over here. Laurendox is about to control this. It is crazy. These properties are like going back and forth, back and forth. It's like a freaking seesaw. I don't know who has the lead, who doesn't. It's going back and forth, and they're pretty even on unit count. Witte has a large advantage when it comes to unit value, identical unit count. So it looks like Witte has a slight advantage right now. But man, I don't know. This is nuts. But Laurendox has the positioning. Like, look at all these threats coming to the HQ over here. You know how much I love HQ caps. So I'm sort of rooting for an HQ cap. We'll see what we get. Looks like a lockdown on this property does not get... I don't think that's a roll since they're Von Bolt, so I don't think that even has a chance for 2-hit KO, so it doesn't matter anyway. But Laurendox threatening over here. Man, really just wants that comm tower. And since Witte did not build a tank this turn because of the mega tank, does not have any backup to attack. Although, like, that's still stupid. Like, use those tanks somewhere else. Like, I don't know. Bring the tanks over here. Oh, but the medium tank's scary. Build a medium tank. Bring those 2 tanks up. Scare that one off. Reclaim all these properties. It's kind of questionable. It's hard to know what to do when there's so many fronts. You get analysis paralysis. You don't know where to put things. So Laurondo going back to his favorite little old comm tower. But look at who cares about comm towers where you can threaten a cap? Like, just put a bunch of infantry, cap it, fire on something with the battleship. Like, that is scary. But look at all of these tanks and artillery. Like, the reinforcements have arrived, and they are scary for Witte. Like, look at all these. These are going to be very useful. It's a good thing he reinforced, because if he did not reinforce, and these are just playing around on the playground over here, doing nothing on the weak, stupid fronts, he would have been dead. But luckily, he's got all these damn units here, so let's see what he can do with them. Laurendo's still forced to build infantry over here, because he's pumping out tanks full throttle over here. Still not giving up on that HQ. Witte gets a nice hit over here on a road from a city. Like, on a road from a city by Witte. So you better watch out for that. Oh, you know it's coming. Mega tank on the B ship. Bada boom. Gonna do 3. Not bad. That's 5,600 in damages every turn that it heals 2 on the battleship. So if I was Witte, I might like knock down the battleship to like 2 HP, 3 HP. Let it just keep up sucking funds, more and more funds. A recon and an infantry worth of funds every turn. I probably wouldn't kill it. I'd probably let the B ship live for the longest time just to keep sapping funds, because funds are so important on high base maps. So I kind of like the idea of keeping it alive. I'm not sure if Witte does that though, but we'll see. These tanks are just going nuts. Bringing the artillery over here, although I think that you're going to easily be able to get to that, like with a medium tank. I don't see why not. But he does have a mega tank, so I guess if this does come try to kill the artillery, it will get obliterated in one shot with the mega tank. And now Witte bringing in the mega tank. Bye-bye, this tank. It's got to like run away somewhere. Who knows where. Looks like nothing's safe. Witte is temporarily ahead on the capture count, but Laurondo and it's threatening over there. It's gonna be back and forth. I have no idea what's going on. Building the artillery now, locked down. So 2 artillery and a mega tank pointing at that battleship. If I'm the captain of that ship, I'm jumping over. I'm getting a life vest. I'm getting out of there before it becomes Titanic and I'm freaking falling down and dying on something. I haven't watched the movie, by the way, so I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm never watching Titanic. No amount of girls can convince me to watch Titanic, so I'll just pretend I watched it. Anyway, Laurondo threatening this property over here. Looks like he's going to get it. Probably. Man, okay, so let's see if Laurondo's fighting back over here, not allowing Witte to so easily. So it looks like he's going to try to capture this thing. Once he gets this corner, he's going to try to go for this corner. So Laurondo is on all the fronts simultaneously. Brings in the medium tank over here, not a bad idea. Still kind of base locked. It would have been nice to have those artillery that he blundered earlier, but, you know, whatever. Witte successfully got this property, but Laurondo is threatening to capture it back. He's ahead on the unit count, so Laurondo is winning unit count. Battleship attacks this tank right here. I guess I might have moved it over here. It wouldn't be in range of anything. I don't know. It's kind of questionable, but you kind of want to be in the port all the same. But your battleship's probably going to die next turn. Or at least get broken down to like 1, 2, 3 HP or something of the like. But we got an Ex Machina coming up for both players, so that's going to completely alter the match as well. So I'm wondering where that's going to land. My guess, it's going to land Witte on his mega tank, Laurondo probably on this battleship if it's still alive, but it probably won't be, so I don't know where it's going to land for Laurondo. Perfect. Leave it at 1. I wouldn't kill it here. I would let it live and keep sapping funds. There's no infantry to recapture right now anyway, so it's kind of pointless. Uses the Ex Machina, also kind of an underwhelming one. Like gets a medium tank, a bunch of weak ass infantry in this tank. Like, he's not been getting very good Ex Machinas. Poor Witte, bad Ex Machinas. Fighting this tank, that thing never stood a chance. Like, look how overextended that tank is. Like, what is it even doing? Like, it's... See, that's why you don't fight on this stupid front. Like, he got the thing for like 2 turns. Not useful. So Witty's fighting back over here. Doesn't want Laurondo to immediately recapture this property. Seems to be repelling the HQ push. Why are you trying to kill that thing? Why are you doing that? Just move it over here and like let it... Whatever. That's what I would have done. This tank... I probably would have built a medium tank. Delete that. Build a medium tank or a mech to get a hit off on this thing, because that thing is... You want to get a free hit on something when you can, right? Like... whatever. I think Witty... I think he knew that. And probably wanted to delete that. Kill that, but... Sometimes we make mistakes. Ooh, that is a lot more devastating Ex Machina. It blocks the base. So you want to move that freaking artillery. Stops the medium tank. Stops 2 tanks. So that... Once again, Laurondo. Better Ex Machina. But... Let's look at the unit value. He's a lot far... He's 30,000 behind from Witty. And Witty's got some money saved up as well. Even unit count. So... This is still anyone's game. This game is nuts. We have no idea what's going on. A lot of that money is locked up, though, in the Ex Machina, though, so you have to take that into account. And looks like Laurondo will be recapturing this property. Laurondo will be ahead quite substantially on property count quite soon. So Witty's gonna have to find some counterplay. He's gonna need to stop that from happening. Maybe he even goes for the comm towers, like, F it. Like, he went for my comm tower early on, now I need to go for his. Like, he's got nothing in position. Maybe move this medium tank over here, threaten the artillery. 2 turns, he'll be capturing that comm tower, so... But this is scary, like, double cap on, like, Witty's properties in the corner over there, like... Whew, I'd be sweating if I'm Witty. So, deletes it now, builds a Neo tank. Yeah, should have done that last turn and completely obliterated that this turn. So, you know, happens. Low gas, so that medium tank has probably gotten its fair share of good use. It, like, went from, like, here... to here, to here, I think, was its path. No, I think it fought over here a little bit, maybe. I don't know. That medium tank has seen some fights, though. That's for sure. Witty is behind on unit count, but getting some free kills on some weakened Laurondo units. Man, look at that income, though. So Laurondo is saving up for something. I don't know what. Man, look at that income disparity. Witty's on a timer now. He needs to be worrying about what to do with all that funds. Not with all the funds, but all the properties. He needs to start pumping out infantry to reclaim properties. He's got a lot of infantry over here ready to recapture, but nothing over here. Too many fights going on. Not enough time to build infantry. Can't recapture that. Can't recapture even this property that's 1 turn away from the base. Can't recapture any of these properties. Can't recapture that property. There's like no hope for recapturing these properties right now. It's going to take at least 3-4 turns to get those properties because all the infantry are dead. Maybe Laurondo is purposely attacking infantry. Like he wants to kill off this one, make sure there's no early caps. So probably wants to like swing a tank around to weaken that, if possible. I guess not. But you need to like start killing infantry. Make sure they can't recapture anything. Builds a Neo tank, so it's like, yeah, you ain't getting my comm tower. That's my most precious property in the entire game. You're not getting my comm tower over my dead body. So Laurondo is all about the comm towers, apparently. Weird. Wait, what? Capture this one. Capture this one. What are you doing, man? All right, just going super conservative in terms of the captures. Man, I probably would have... I don't know. He probably knows what he's doing. I would have gone balls to the wall, though. This Neo tank's just going to keep doing, like, put some trash up here to block it from doing anything and won't be able to do anything. Okay, so Witty's finally off there. Klauser. That's a new sound effect. One shots the weakened medium tank, but has no more ammo. So it's a sitting duck for tanks, etc. Although there is a medium tank, but Witty is severely behind on unit count. Severely behind on property value, but still ahead on unit value. So he's holding in. Builds an APC to replenish that in 1 turn, I suppose. But look, Laurondo is really close to capturing this property, this base. Like the property game is completely being won by Laurondo currently. And Witty's probably... He's going to get the comm tower, so that's nice. But, like, allows a hit on this tank over there. A little questionable. Okay, let's see what Laurondo does. Laurondo still has the... Ooh, yeah, that hurts. Probably move down the artillery too. And then build an infantry to recapture this a turn later. Yeah, see, that hurts. Ooh, yeah, that's gonna hurt. Recapturing this property over here. Like, Laurondo, he's got the properties, man. Like, look at this. 6k every turn. Like you're saying, it's like you're fighting underwater. You're running out of oxygen. You need to act. I don't even know if this tank will be able to interrupt this cap because it has the vulnerable defense. Like, that is scurry. Kills off the infantry. There is no hope of any more infantry recapturing things. There is no infantry at all for Woody. There is no hope of capturing infantry. No hope of infantry recapturing properties. Sometimes when you're ahead, it doesn't even matter if you're killing other units, that more expensive units. If you just kill all the infantry, they'll never be able to claw back and get some funds back. Kills off this. It's looking pretty grim from Woody right now. Scary for Woody. Builds another Neo tank over here. Man, Neo tank battles, they never end. And Woody resigns. Woody resigns, doesn't even use the APC to come down to help the Neo tank. Well, I guess it's stopped. Well, you can kill it with the artillery or something, but like, I think the story of this match was there's too many big units for Woody. I think he had like the Neo tanks, the Mega tanks. He needed more tanks, small tanks to prevent this from happening. If he had one tank over here, the infantry wouldn't have been able to do anything. Maybe an artillery, but he had medium tanks, Neo tanks, Mega tanks, just small units to stop in the corners. They're a lot more useful. This medium tank was fighting infantry the whole game. What if that was 2 tanks? Like, that would have, you know, done a lot more damage than one medium tank that just fought infantry the whole time, did a little circle over here. So, like, that's why you need to have smaller units, artillery, tanks for the game. He made a few mistakes not deleting the unit, letting off the medium tank easy early on, but I think the game wasn't decided by that. The game was decided by smaller, more agile units being able to front switch more effectively. Laurondo was able to surge all his tanks over here early on and freak Woody out, and he builds like medium tanks and a whole bunch of big tanks. The battleship was a nice meme. I think it actually did decent work, and it forced the Mega tank, so maybe it was worth it, but I'm not entirely sure. It looked freaking cool though, so I can't deny that. But yeah, Laurondo was just murdering on the infantry capping because they just went in here uncontested. There was no tanks. There's not even a recon to stop them. They just went through, cleared, won the things, and like that was that. So, man, that was a nuts game. That was probably the craziest game I've seen in a while. Mega tanks, battleships, etc. But that's Caustic finale for you. You never know what's gonna happen. Like, there can be big units, weird units, and sometimes they can be viable. In this case, I think both of those things are kind of a mistake, but funny in their own right. So, anyway, hope you enjoyed yourselves. Hope you learned something about this map. Hope you were thoroughly entertained. Anyway, hope to see you next time on another replay commentary. Peace, y'all.